This channel is not designed for entertainment or viral content. It exists for people who are actively healing, seeking clarity, or exploring the psychology behind their emotions and patterns. Every episode is carefully written and produced with emotional depth, reflection, and care. If you're here expecting casual commentary, high-energy hosts, surface-level discussions, flashy production, or entertainment-focused content, then we gently refer you to other channels offering just that. At DeepDive, we focus on quiet, deep, and intentional content to support those on a real mental health journey. If that's you, then welcome to our channel. You're in the right place.
Welcome to the DeepDive podcast channel. Have you ever found yourself caught in that loop? Scrolling through bad news, even when part of you is screaming to just stop.
Oh, absolutely. It's something so many people experience.
It's become this kind of silent backdrop to our lives, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And often we don't even realize the deep impact it's having.
It's true. It usually starts quite innocently, maybe a quick check on your phone, you see a headline, you start scrolling.
Yeah, just a few minutes.
Right. But then for a lot of people, that can escalate pretty quickly, and suddenly you're just saturated, feeling the sense of, well, doom. We're talking about doom scrolling, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's important to say, this isn't just like casual browsing or keeping up with things. Doom scrolling is more compulsive, almost frantic. That constant consumption of negative news, negative social media, especially when things feel uncertain or there's a crisis. It feels like you need the information, like you're trying to understand the chaos. But yeah, it becomes this habit that really gets its hooks into us.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive today. We want to unpack the neuroscience, the psychology behind why we do this. We'll look at how it's actually affecting your brain, your body, and maybe most importantly, we'll talk about some gentle, trauma-informed ways you can shift things, how to stay informed in a more regulated, more resilient way.
Because the goal isn't to just ignore everything.
Definitely not. It's about learning how to engage with what's happening in the world, but without, completely sacrificing your own inner peace in the process.
Okay, let's really unpack this then. Why? Why do we keep scrolling even when we kind of know deep down it's making us feel worse? What's the core human drive here?
Well, at its heart, it's really a primal drive. It's about trying to find some predictability when everything feels chaotic.
Predictability.
Yeah, when the world seems unstable, think about the pandemic or wars, political stuff, even personal crises. Our brains just crave certainty. They crave safety.
So we scroll. Because
thinking often unconsciously, if I just know enough about what's happening, I can prepare. Or if I see the bad thing coming, I won't be blindsided. It's really an illusion of control.
Wow. An illusion of control.
It's a survival strategy, basically, one that's just gone completely haywire in our digital age.
So it's like our ancient wiring, the stuff that helped us spot danger, like on the savannah, is now being tricked by our phones. We're looking for safety, but we just keep finding more horror, more helplessness. It feels fragmenting.
It really does.
It's fascinating how our nervous system gets convinced that this digital search equals safety, even while it's kind of drowning us.
And this is where the neuroscience gets really, really interesting. You see, our brains have what's called a negativity bias.
Okay.
It's an ancient survival mechanism. Brilliant, actually, for detecting immediate dangers back when, a rustle in the bushes might mean a predator.
Right. Useful then.
Very. But in today's world, this hyper-connected world, that bias is just overwhelmed. Utterly overwhelmed.
How so?
We're processing thousands, literally thousands, of inputs every day. We're bombarded with images, stories, destruction, injustice, despair from all over the globe. Things our ancestors never had to deal with on this scale.
And our brain reacts like it's personal.
Pretty much. Your amygdala, you can think of it as your brain's internal smoke detector.
Okay.
It reacts to all these perceived threats as if they're immediate personal dangers.
Right. And what happens inside us then? When we're hit with that constant stream of alarm bells, what's the actual physiological thing going on?
Well, your amygdala starts firing constantly, signaling danger, danger, danger.
Okay.
This immediately kicks your sympathetic nervous system into gear. That's your body's fight or flight system.
Like the alarm system.
Exactly. Your body then floods itself with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. Your heart rate goes up, blood pressure rises, muscles tense up, your focus narrows.
The classic stress response.
Classic stress response. Now, in short bursts, if there's a real immediate danger, That's incredibly adaptive. It saves your life. But with this persistent, nonstop exposure to bad news online, your body just stays stuck in that state, a chronic state of hypervigilance, always on high alert.
So it's not just feeling a bit stressed out or anxious.
Yeah.
It's a deep physiological state that just becomes the norm. The alarm is stuck on.
Precisely. And over time, this constant activation, well, it can lead to a whole cascade of problems. We're talking anxiety disorders, trouble regulating emotions, memory issues, digestive problems, chronic fatigue, and yeah, burnout.
Wow.
Like Dr. Judson Brewer, the neuroscientist, put it really well. He said, we scroll because we're anxious, but the scrolling makes us more anxious. It's just this loop, a trap.
That makes so much sense. And initially, when we see suffering or bad news, we might feel real empathy, real concern. But what happens when it's just relentless, unfiltered exposure day after day?
Yeah.
Does that wear us down?
Unfortunately, yes. It very often leads to something called empathy fatigue or even emotional shutdown.
Empathy fatigue. What does that look like?
Well, the symptoms can include feeling numb, maybe indifferent to other people's pain, even if you consciously know you care. Increased irritability is common, mood swings, this pervasive feeling of helplessness or hopelessness.
So it's not that you stop caring.
No, not at all. It's simply that your system, your nervous system, is overloaded. We, as humans, were just never built to process the collective pain of the entire world, alone and without any breaks.
That really lands.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're constantly taking in all this negativity, what does that do to our overall view of the world? Does it change how we see everything?
You've hit on a really crucial point there. Constant negativity can fundamentally reshape your whole cognitive lens, how you see everything.
Oh, so?
Over time, it tends to foster deep cynicism, this belief that, the world is just fundamentally broken, it's always going to be this way.
Right.
And it reinforces that hypervigilance we talked about, that feeling of something bad is always lurking just around the corner. And this can lead straight into learned helplessness. It just erodes your emotional resilience, your ability to bounce back, to feel safe, really, and to truly imagine a positive future that feels worth investing your energy in.
That really highlights how widespread this issue is. And actually, before we dive into some of the other impacts, just want to say if you're finding this deep dive valuable, please do remember to subscribe to our channel. Maybe leave us a comment. Your feedback honestly helps us bring more insights like this directly to you.
Absolutely. And the effects, they really do ripple outwards. They go far beyond just your immediate mood. Let's take something basic, like sleep.
Okay, sleep, yeah.
Scrolling in bed might feel like you're winding down, right?
Really.
But the blue light from your screen, it actively suppresses melatonin. That's your body's natural sleep hormone.
Right, I've heard that.
And even more than that, engaging with emotionally charged news or posts, it stimulates your brain, it keeps it buzzing, delaying those really crucial REM sleep cycles you need for processing and restoration.
And the stress hormones.
Yeah, those nighttime cortisol spikes we mentioned. They cause restless sleep, sometimes nightmares, just general fatigue. You wake up feeling drained, even if you were in bed for 8 hours.
And when we're consistently sleep deprived, what's the knock-on effect on our mood, our daily lives?
Oh, it's huge. Poor sleep profoundly messes with your mood and emotional regulation. It makes you much more susceptible to irritability, to that feeling of brain fog.
Yeah, the brain fog is real.
It really is. And feelings of depression can worsen. You just become more reactive to everyday little stressors. It becomes this vicious cycle, you see. The scrolling disrupts sleep.
Which makes you feel worse.
Exactly. Which makes you more emotionally vulnerable and maybe even more likely to reach for the phone to scroll the next day, seeking some kind of, distraction or answer.
Wow. Okay, and what about our relationships, our connections with the people actually around us? Does this digital habit affect those too?
It definitely can, often quite subtly. Your emotional availability tends to decrease because, frankly, your system is just drained. Conversations might start feeling heavier, or maybe you find yourself avoiding certain topics. Genuine presence, just being there with someone, often gets replaced by that digital distraction, checking the phone.
Or maybe arguments even flare up about the news itself.
Oh, for sure. Different opinions, fear levels. It can create tension. Ultimately, you might feel like you're connected to everything happening in the world, but you're becoming increasingly disconnected from yourself and from the people right there beside you.
This whole pattern, it really does sound almost like an addiction sometimes. That constant craving for the next bit of information. Is there like a dopamine thing happening here?
Absolutely. You're right on track there. Just like, say, gambling, or even the little hits from social media likes, doom scrolling can trigger a really potent dopamine cycle.
How did that work?
There's the anticipation, right? What's new? What's happened now? Then maybe a brief, tiny hit of satisfaction when you find a new piece of information or maybe confirm a fear you had.
Right, like, aha, I knew it.
Exactly. And then almost immediately, there's a craving for more. Now, in trauma-informed work, which basically means understanding how past overwhelming experiences shape us now,
Okay.
we see that addictions, or addictive-like behaviors, are often coping mechanisms, deeply rooted ones. When your nervous system is chronically dysregulated, feeling unsafe or overwhelmed, it instinctively looks for anything to soothe it or numb it or distract it.
So it's not just a bad habit. It's potentially this, like, desperate strategy our system is using to try and manage profound discomfort, even if it doesn't actually work long term.
Precisely. It can absolutely be a distraction from deeper emotional pain. It can be a way to fill silence or loneliness. It can become a ritual that makes you feel informed or responsible.
Yeah, that feeling of responsibility is a big one.
Huge. Or sometimes it's even a substitute for taking action when you feel totally powerless about the big stuff. But what starts as maybe a coping strategy, it gradually morphs into this cycle of dependency. And paradoxically, it ends up reinforcing the very anxiety it was trying to soothe in the first place. And it's also really vital to acknowledge that some people are just more vulnerable to getting pulled into doom scrolling.
Who might that be?
Particularly individuals with a history of trauma, especially complex or relational trauma. Their nervous systems might already be kind of primed for threat detection. They might be less familiar physiologically with feeling states of safety and regulation, often stuck oscillating between being hyper alert and maybe shutting down or dissociating.
That's such an important point. So for someone with a trauma history, doom scrolling could almost unknowingly reinforce this deep, perhaps unconscious belief like, see, the world isn't safe, I have to stay alert.
Exactly. It becomes a digital version of constantly scanning the horizon for danger. It feels like necessary vigilance, even while it's actively causing more harm and distress.
Gosh, understanding all these layers, all these impacts, it could feel pretty overwhelming in itself. So the big question, how do we start to get some control back?
Yeah.
How do we break this cycle without beating ourselves up or setting really rigid rules that just aren't sustainable?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer really lies in awareness, self-compassion, and making small incremental changes, trying to just quit cold turkey with harsh rules. That often backfires and leads to shame.
Right. So what are some gentle but still powerful ways to start?
Okay, first step, name what's happening. This sounds simple, but it's more than just noticing. It's actually an intervention for your brain.
How so?
You literally say it, either out loud or just to yourself. Okay, I'm doom scrolling right now. Maybe add, I'm trying to feel safer by doing this, but it's actually making me feel worse. My nervous system is overloaded. When you articulate that, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, logical part of your brain. It sends a signal down to your more primitive threat system saying essentially, hey, I see what's happening here. We're actually okay. We can choose something different. It helps interrupt that automatic unconscious loop.
Naming it gives you a bit of distance.
Exactly. Second, create a news ritual. Instead of this endless, aimless scrolling whenever, you intentionally set contained times and spaces for news.
Boundaries.
Boundaries, yes. Maybe it's 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes early evening, maybe from just one or two trusted, diverse sources. And this is crucial. Absolutely no news right before bed.
Definitely not before bed.
Definitely not. This teaches your brain, look, we will check in. We're not ignoring things.
Yeah.
But we will also definitively check out.
Okay, I like that. Check in, check out. What's next?
Third, curate your digital environment.
Yeah.
You have more control here than you think. Be pretty ruthless about it. Unfollow accounts that consistently rely on fear or sensationalism. Use the mute functions for topics that you know are particularly triggering for you right now. And then actively seek out other kinds of content, solution-focused news, maybe stories about positive things happening, joyful updates, nature pictures, whatever nourishes you. Remember, what you consistently feed your mind becomes the landscape of your inner world.
That's powerful. Choose your landscape. Okay, number 4.
Fourth, and this is so important, reconnect with your body, because all this new stuff, it lives mostly in your head, but safety, regulation, feeling grounded, that lives in your body.
Okay, how do we do that?
Simple things. Try grounding exercises. Literally just noticing your feet on the floor, feeling that solid connection, maybe touching something cold, like running your hands under cold water. Somatic shaking, just gently shaking out your arms and legs can physically help discharge some of that pent-up adrenaline and tension.
Shaking it out.
Yeah. And breath work is huge. Simple techniques like 4-7-8 breathing, in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, or box breathing, in, hold, out, hold, all for 4 counts. Even just humming or singing can activate your vagus nerve.
The calming nerve.
That's the one. It directly signals your nervous system to shift out of fight or flight and into that calmer rest and digest state. These are tools to help you manually downshift from survival mode.
Got it. Body first. And the last one.
Finally, number 5. Replace scrolling with nourishment. You don't have to just stop scrolling and stare at the wall. Instead, consciously offer yourself an alternative, something that genuinely soothes or replenishes or helps you regulate.
Like what?
Could be anything, really. Journaling about how you're feeling, taking a short walk, preferably in nature if possible, calling a friend to talk about something specific, maybe something you can do, reading or watching something uplifting, making something with your hands, cooking, drawing, knitting, anything creative.
Finding healthy replacements.
Exactly. Over time, these become your new rituals. Rituals of resilience, not rituals of anxiety. They offer genuine peace and a sense of agency, which the scrolling ultimately steals.
This really reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? It's not about sticking your head in the sand or ignoring reality.
Not at all.
It's about relating to the world, relating to information in a fundamentally different, more empowered way.
Yeah.
Moving from just passively absorbing it all to intentionally engaging.
Precisely. It invites you to pause and ask yourself those critical questions. Is this piece of information actually helping me understand something useful right now? Or is it just overwhelming me? Am I seeking facts here, or am I just feeding my fear response? And, crucially, what, if anything, can I actually do with this information? And if the answer is nothing right now, can I give myself permission to gently let it go for a while?
That shift, it replaces that awful overwhelm with discernment. It replaces the draining hypervigilance with a more grounded presence. And it moves you from passive doom to, well, intentional self-preserving action or even just intentional rest. It means you don't have to carry the crushing weight of the entire world on your shoulders 24/7 just to show that you care. That feels incredibly liberating.
It is. It truly is.
Okay, we do get a lot of questions about this topic. It resonates with so many. So maybe we can quickly run through some comment FAQs.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, first one, just to recap. What exactly is doom scrolling in the simplest terms possible?
It's basically compulsively consuming an endless stream of negative news or other online content to the point where it leads to heightened anxiety, fear, and just general emotional overload.
Okay. And why can't I seem to stop, even when I know it's making me feel anxious?
Well, it's tapping into that powerful dopamine feedback loop we talked about, that little hit of knowing or anticipation. Plus, it gives a false sense of control. And often, it's become a default coping mechanism for dealing with stress or uncertainty, and those are really hard habits to break.
Right. And how exactly does it mess with my sleep again?
Several ways. It activates your stress response right when you should be winding down. The blue light from screens disrupts your melatonin production, your natural sleep hormone, and it just keeps your mind buzzing, hyper alert, making it hard to fall asleep and stay asleep, affecting those deep REM cycles.
Got it. And can it actually lead to or worsen serious things like depression or burnout?
Yes, absolutely. Chronic, relentless exposure to distressing stuff, especially without tools for emotional regulation, can definitely contribute to feelings of hopelessness, that empathy fatigue we mentioned, and deep emotional and physical burnout over time.
So given all this, what is a genuinely healthy way to stay informed without falling into the trap?
The key word is intentionality. Set firm time limits for how long you'll engage with news. Choose just a few trusted, balanced sources. Don't try to read everything. Absolutely avoid scrolling late at night. And actively, consciously balance your news intake with other types of content: positive, solution-focused, uplifting, or just plain neutral stuff.
Balance is key. Okay, last FAQ. What's something practical I can do right after I realize I've been doom scrolling to calm myself down?
Focus on immediate regulation. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Use those grounding techniques we discussed. Conscious breathing, maybe splashing cold water on your face. Intentional movement like stretching or a quick walk. Really tuning into your senses. What do you see, hear, feel right now? And maybe some self-compassionate journaling, just acknowledging the feeling without judgment. Anything to soothe and regulate your nervous system right there and then.
That's really helpful, practical advice. Wow. What a truly illuminating deep dive into something that feels so incredibly relevant right now.
It really is.
It seems clear that, in this age of constant information, constant perceived crisis, learning genuine emotional regulation isn't just nice to have. It's almost revolutionary.
I really believe that. Choosing not to constantly flood your system with suffering isn't ignorance. It's actually a profound form of wisdom. It's how you conserve your energy, your emotional strength, so you can stay present enough to actually love, to help where you can, and to hold on to hope. Your nervous system deeply deserves rest. Your mind deserves clarity. Your heart deserves protection.
Doomscrolling might have become this unconscious ritual of vigilance,
Yeah.
Trying to prepare for the worst. But you absolutely have the power to choose new rituals. Rituals of grounding, rituals of joy, rituals of real connection.
Exactly. So remember to pause. Just take a deep breath sometimes. Give yourself permission to log off when you need to. You can always come back to the world when you feel genuinely ready, hopefully with your clarity more intact, your compassion nourished rather than depleted, and your resilience rooted in something much deeper than the next scary headline.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Deep Dive podcast channel. We sincerely hope this conversation helps you feel more empowered to reclaim your nervous system, your focus, and your mental health. Until next time, stay curious and stay well.